Clearly, I haven't seen the movie Cats vs. Dogs. Because they flew around a lot.
Yeah.
Or G-Force.
They're not cats, though. They're critters. Well, I've just done it there. So, a few things, just looking back at my podcast, after editing it and whatnot. I just done it again. If you guys hadn't noticed, I had learned a new word that week, and the word was I said that shit. I edited that the first 4 minutes and had to literally take a break because I was getting sick of hearing myself speaking. Hopefully I was able to cut enough of them out of the podcast. There was a lot of cutting and changing. Just because when I was in a room alone, I discovered that I don't know how to speak very well. So I'd learnt a new word, and I'm physically cringing right now trying not to say the word because I said it. In the first 4 minutes, I counted that I think in the original take, people, you might all go back and say, you're wrong. In the original take, in the first 4 minutes, I said it 60 times. Not quite 60. I said it a bit under 60. But that's enough. That's one every 4 seconds. Wait, it couldn't have been 60. Maybe I miscounted. It could have been 60, right?
Wait, so you... In the first how many minutes?
I think it was 30. I think I counted for the first 5 minutes and it was somewhere up there.
Yeah.
It was somewhere up there. I lost count, but I tried counting as I was editing, and I swear I got about 60 in the first 5 minutes. Again. But, so I don't want everybody to... But it's all I could hear. When I'd noticed, after the first 3 minutes, when I'd noticed that I'd said it a lot, it's all I could hear for the rest of the pod. So I tried to cut a lot out. I might not have done a great job, but the podcast was inspirational. I hope you all had a tear in your eye listening to that podcast. I hope you all opened your minds.
There was actually a study that came out that people who say
have tiny
especially around 60 times in 5 minutes.
It's crazy. One every 5 seconds. I think I counted. I must have counted wrong. That can't be right. There was a lot, but not 60. It must have been like 30 or something.
Yeah. Just a lot?
There was a lot.
In general?
Too many for sure. One every 10 seconds I think is genuinely...
It's definitely more submissive. And if you want, I can open that for you.
But another thing about last week's pod that frustrated me is halfway through... I did it... I wanted to get the background because we had a really nice view from our apartment. I wanted to get that background so people knew like I was away. I was on holiday. So the first half of the pod I did with the background, and it was a lot of light shining in. And so when I was looking at myself on the camera, I was like, these people can't see me. These people can't see me. No way. Turns out they actually could see me very clearly, and the view was beautiful. But halfway through the podcast, when I had to turn the camera back on, I put the blind down.
Oh.
So the first half of the pod, you're looking at a beautiful view. In the second half of the pod, to be fair, we started talking about, spoiler warning for yourself, we started talking about life after death.
Who, you or who'd you do it with?
No, just me.
Oh,
yeah, like me and the people.
Me and the voices in my head from Substance Abuse.
Exactly. Me, myself, and I started talking about life after death for that second half of the pod. It's a great podcast. You got to go listen to it. It is the first of a new series of Jake and Marty. One in every 4 pods we'll do where we're going to hyper focus on a topic. Oh, yeah. Jake hasn't actually signed off on that agreement, but I don't care. This is
I said it was cool.
51% my pod, and so I make the call. I call the shots.
I'm pretty sure it was 58. Fuck no. 48 me, 48 you.
4%.
And 4% Fran at Westpac.
Yeah, Fran made sure she slid in on that agreement.
Fran said, oh, if you really want a bank account, you're going to need
you're gonna need to slide mama some dollars. So we gave her a percentage of the company. I'm actually the CEO of the... So go listen to that podcast right now, but let's read off...
I had nothing to do with the helium that was stolen.
First off, we're going to go through our list of what we've got what we've got
just quickly, I want to say something.
We've got Chit Chat, then we've got Storytime, then we've got Marty's Media Meltdown, we've got Jake's Just Not Having It, we've got Jake's Red Flag, which is Jake's is the only word not in capitals there, and then lastly we're going to finalise with the Mice Band World Tour, and we will be doing a quote of the day this week. I've got a good one.
Okay, good. So I don't.
I've started writing them down throughout the week. Every time I think of a quote, I'm collecting a list of quotes that I think are podcast worthy, and I'm just going to, every time you need me to do one, I got one.
I don't have a quote, but I have a joke.
Just before we move on to this pod, because we are about to move on to Storytime, I think. So I've had a very good week this past week. I was obviously on holiday last week, played a bit of golf this week, went on a hike. I went to the U-Yanks for the first time today, ever. Never been to the U-Yanks before. So I did that today, went up, hiked all the way up, easy work, light work. But I feel like you've already seen it because I reckon you were looking through my bag before for that USB connector.
Yeah, I was.
Did you find it?
I saw something, but I didn't exactly...
Jake, I think Jake's seen his present.
But
so
I
I'm
didn't
just gonna
read
whip
it.
Out. I got us one each. Hog's Breath Cafe. I also sent you a photo of this one because this one's mine.
Yeah.
I'm keeping the black one because I figured you'd want the pink one.
I do want the pink one.
And that's also appropriate because we've cracked a couple of ginger beers. So if you want to chuck your ginger beer
Yes,
into Hog's
please.
Breath Cafe...
Thank you.
These people all know it if they watched last week's pod because I drank an Asahi at 9:30 in the morning just so I could have the Hog's Breath coaster holder. So yeah, we've talked about Hog's Breath many a time on the pod, and I got the privilege of going up to a Hog's Breath. Didn't get the privilege of eating there.
You hadn't hogged it?
I didn't get to hog it, but the place we ate at was literally next door, so it was like feeding your dog kibble and then laying a steak out right behind the fly net wall, or the door, whatever. Anyway. But I had to go in and I had to get something to remind me of my time there. And the lady at the front desk goes...
You're our first customer in years.
Type shit. No, so there were people in there eating. And I walk up and she goes like... Me and Mum walk up. Mum actually was the one that said, I'll go in there and get you a coaster. She actually bought these, to be fair. Because they were like...
Thank you, Mum.
They were like $5 each. But thank you, Mum and Marty. Yeah. Fucking... And get this for the story as well. The price might seem a bit high. We go up there and I said, I'd love a couple of coaster holders for me and my co-host if I could. And she goes, finally. And I said, what? And she goes, I've worked here for like a fucking year and I've never sold any of this. I've never sold any coaster holders. They had t-shirts and I think hats as well.
Do they call them coaster holders up there or do you call them coaster holders?
I don't know what they are.
Stubbies.
Stubby holders.
Yeah.
Coaster. I did this on the other pod as well. I kept calling it a coaster, but a coaster is what you put a beer on, not what you put a beer in. Stubby holder. And she goes, my dad...
Call me a stubby if you will.
Yeah. I said, the other day, like, I've worked here for so long and nobody's ever bought the stubby holders from me. And I said, my dad came in the other day and he literally collects stubby holders. And I said, do you want to buy a stubby holder? And he said, fuck no. And I'm like, are you trying to get this transaction over the line or are you trying to turn me off the stubby holder? But I walked away with a Hog's Breath stubby holder and I'm pretty pleased about it.
Very rare, these things. There's plenty of them. But they're rare. You won't see one around very much.
The manufacturer is still pumping out thousands per day, but you won't find them in anyone's cupboard. That's for sure.
I just wanted to say quickly. So I did see these in there, but I didn't even recognize. Like I was just like, there's some bullshit in there. Yeah. I flicked them out of the way.
You don't spend too much time looking through Marty's bag if you want to walk out alive.
Yeah.
That's. You know,
I just wanted to, did
we
you
had a
listen?
third podcast host, but he found that out after episode 1.
Yeah, Harrison.
Anyway, all right, let's get some story time going.
Story time. I've got 2 stories. One, I originally only had one, and it's got a bit of a backstory. The other one came to me while we were playing darts, and Marty got a bullseye. And it turns out I've never told him this story, which means I've never told you guys this story. So, first story is last year, there were a few moments. There was one moment in particular, the first time it ever happened, where I woke up I start work at 7, and I woke up at probably 5 minutes to 7. I live half an hour away from where I start work, so the math wasn't quite adding up to me making it to work on time. I called my boss, and I was like, I am so sorry. I promise you my alarm just didn't go off. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to be late. Then I got to work. We ended up patching things up after work, and I talked to him. Then, a month or 2 later, the same thing happened. My alarm didn't go off. And so I talked to the same boss, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I swear my alarm didn't go off. Then, it happened a 3rd time. And this is when I invested in a second alarm clock. Because I was like, this is ridiculous. This happened 3 times to me now in the past, 4 months. It was happening to me, monthly, almost. And so I was like, I just need to get a second alarm clock and just set a bunch of alarms on it. And then I'll be sweet.
Do you set one alarm when you go to bed?
I have it automatically set.
That's crazy. I couldn't live that lifestyle. The amount of times I've overslept through my alarm is nuts.
Wait, set one alarm?
Yeah.
Or set an alarm when I go to bed? Because I have it auto set, but I have 4 alarms auto set.
Either way, I don't auto set it because I don't trust machines. I set 6 alarms every night because my starting time changes at work. Sometimes I start later than other times.
But what your alarm doesn't go off, or you sleep through it?
Both.
Okay.
Nah, I don't claim that bullshit. I don't believe
No,
it.
because
Alarms just don't not go off. I always follow my sword. I tell my bosses.
Okay.
The other day,
But here's the thing,
when I was
because
two hours late, you know what happened?
What?
I set my alarm for 7:30 p.m.
No, because I knew my alarm wasn't going off because I looked at my phone and it said it was going off, but it was making no sound. Like it wasn't vibrating, it wasn't making any noise.
That's weird.
Yeah. So I told my boss this, and he was like, yeah, no, that's all good. Like, shit happens, basically. Today, I was scrolling on my phone at lunch, and here comes a post on Instagram from the New York Times or something saying Apple's just released a statement saying that they've finally said that there is this glitch that's been happening the last 6 months, and they've been trying to fix it, where alarms haven't been going off, and people have been trying to tell their boss and explain to their boss that the alarms haven't been going off, and their boss has been like, yeah, bullshit. Like, not believing
Really?
him. Yeah. So anyway, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to talk to my boss. I'd already told you, my boss and I had like a 20-minute long gossip sesh, like, while I was still on the clock today, which, that's very rare for my boy Jazz. And at the end, I just dropped in, hey, by the way, I found this on my phone at lunch. Just thought I'd drop it in. Because I know you low-key thought I was bullshitting last year. And he was like, what did he say? No, I believed you. I knew your alarm probably didn't go off.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I've been just
Yeah.
snitching on myself then, because I've just been telling people, like, I forgot to set an alarm. When, like, knowing damn well I did set an alarm. Sorry, no, not that I forgot to set. I've been telling people that I slept through it. Because I just assume, because sometimes Gemma said that she's seen me, I'd like sworn on everything. I swear to God, my alarm didn't go off. And she's like, no, I woke up to your alarm. I saw you go over, click it off, and then I went back to sleep thinking you were going to get up.
No, you do that all the time.
I do that a lot.
You do that all the time. There was one time,
but now there could have been times where I didn't do that, and my alarm actually didn't go off.
No, but there've been times where I've slumbered partied on the floor, and I've woken up because I've never slept through an alarm in my life. I know this because I
think I need to change the sound.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting too familiar.
I
with that being my wake-up
I even
call.
talked to Jazz when it happened. Like, because this one was real bad. I slept until like 8 o'clock, and then he called me, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm probably going to be late. And he asked me after work, he was like, be honest with me, how many beers did you have last night? And I was like, you won't believe it, I went to bed at 6.
Yeah,
I
really.
went to bed really early that night, the previous night. Still didn't go off.
Well, I'm thinking I might start a new trend within myself. I did this by accident the other day. Gemma actually thought I died because I hadn't messaged her from like lunch. I didn't message her. I messaged her at lunch at work. So let's just call it Saturday. I don't actually remember how the days lined up. Messaged her at like 8 at work on Saturday, and then didn't message her for the rest of the day because I was working. Didn't message her when I got home, like direct. I didn't message her straight away when I got home, but when I got home, I laid down in bed just to get off my legs for a bit. Fell into the old trap of I fell asleep at probably 5.
Yeah.
It might have been more like 6 or 7. Especially if it was Saturday, I would have finished at 5. Anyway, so I got home, fall asleep, and I wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
However, you know, it wasn't the best. I was meant to play some Marvel Rivals that I didn't end up playing. But it kind of worked out because I ended up getting up at 3 a.m. and because there was nothing else to do, I could have played video games, but I didn't even feel like playing video games in the morning before work. I ended up like cleaning the entire kitchen, cleaning my whole room. This was before I went up to Sunshine Coast. So like, no, I don't remember when it was. I packed for something, and I edited a whole video, that whole Roblox video. So I would have been packing to the Sunshine Coast. I edited that whole Roblox video that morning, all before clocking in for an 8-hour shift at work. Felt fine for my 8-hour shift at work.
Yeah.
It's just when I got home, I just crashed.
Yeah.
I might start doing that shit.
Yeah, it's
I feel like the
overpowered.
most productive hours in the world are when everybody else is asleep.
I do that. Like, I'll get up at 5.
I'm talking earlier than 5 though.
No, but like,
That's pencil pusher hour. That's tradie hour. Pencil pusher hour is a few hours later. But Andrew Tate hour is like 3 hours before pencil pusher hour.
I studied, bro. I studied.
Breathe air!
Seven Johnny Walker in the war room with Tristan Tate. I studied, bro. I studied. I know his favorite whiskey.
What's that Matthew McConaughey from Wolf of Wall Street? How much you...
That's crazy. Okay, second story time is the bullseye. Now, a few years ago, my family and I went on a trip to Phuket in Thailand, and we stayed at this place, and they had a few different like activities on at the hotel or resort or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, there was one. It was a darts competition that I just stumbled upon one day. I was getting some food, probably old Jake, you know him. And there was they wheeled out this dartboard and they had a dart competition. You could sign up for it, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to give it a whirl. I signed up for it. The way they worked it was you throw the dart, and whatever your score is, the person behind you has to try and beat it. If they beat it, then you're out. So, the person behind me was a 4-year-old girl. The person behind them was maybe a 6-year-old girl. And then the person behind them, pretty shit at darts. So I had a good window of I can make it through a couple rounds before they catch up.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, game goes on. Comes down to the final two. Professional darts player, pretty much, like competitive, was doing really well all game. Got everyone out except me because he finally caught up. And me. He throws whatever he gets. He gets like a good score, a good, almost unbeatable score.
18.
No, he definitely got more than 18.
Let's call it double 20.
No, we get 3 darts.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's call it 3 double 20s.
Yeah, it wasn't quite 3 double 20s.
I
know this.
2 double 20s and a single 20.
Because here's what I then pulled out of my ass. I had been throwing some shit shots all game because I wasn't stressed. I wasn't worried. Bang, first dart, bullseye. Bang, second dart, 20. Third dart, didn't even bother hitting the board. I knew I already got him in the bag.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
That's impressive.
I won.
Jake tells his story
And
because
then
I hit a bullseye
Mum-
by the bay.
Mum told me I had to hide my face for the rest of the time because that guy was probably really mad that I beat him.
That doesn't make sense.
And I was like,
Shooter's got to shoot. That's what Steph Curry
yeah.
says. All right. If you're still with us, let's move on to some of Marty's media meltdown this week. There's been a lot of news. So the LA wildfires happened. They're kind of over now. We've had some fires around our area recently as well, actually. But a little story I heard is apparently they were cutting off water supply to the fire hydrants in LA. Really? There's a whole conspiracy theory going on about Diddy and that he's behind it all, or the devil or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Look into that, people, because I didn't. I wrote down this headline 3 weeks ago and forgot to put it in a pod. Next was the TikTok ban. Stuff that's already gone, so I'm just going to move on from that. It got postponed by 75 days. I think it was banned for 12 hours or some shit. Also, something I don't get about the TikTok ban is, doesn't ExpressVPN exist still? Can't you just live in America, get a VPN, and then still go on TikTok?
Yeah, probably.
So what's the point of the TikTok ban? Like, it doesn't change anything. Everyone just has to buy a VPN.
Yeah, it was something.
If I was you, I'd be investing in ExpressVPN stocks as soon as that TikTok ban goes down.
Yeah. Also, here's the thing. Why, if you're really that addicted?
Instagram Reels is better nowadays.
Yeah.
Anyway. Did you see the wheelchair? Have you seen Johnny English? Any of the Johnny Englishes? Have you seen the Johnny English Strikes Again? The second one?
Probably, yeah.
When he does the wheelchair, like police chase.
Oh, yeah.
Brother, it happened in real life. I'm going to show you the video. I'm also going to send these to you after the pod. You can't let me forget. Happened in Britain. And first of all, this reporter that I found on TikTok that I saw this on might be the most British bloke you've ever seen in your fucking life. But take a look at this. So she's on the run from the cops. The cops pull in front of her, cut her off. She just goes about her day. They pull in front, cut her off. Oh, I just swerve on that corner, whoa. I just swerve. Alright, and they go on to ramble. I just thought that was amazing that literally that was Johnny English. So I think woman stole something from a store, and honestly I hope she got away, and I'm sure she did. That thing was moving rapidly.
Talking about wheelchairs, actually, I now know how to do a wheelie on them.
I don't, and I've practiced. I've tried.
Really?
And I don't know how to do a wheelie.
Oh.
I think I might have already told this story, but a movie I did digital media at school in year 9, and we were meant to make a movie, and we were given an excursion day to film at certain places, and there was 2 groups, and our group decided to do the old folks home day out. And I instantly, as soon as I heard that
absolutely
idea,
thrilling, bruv.
Yeah, I said I instantly, as soon as I heard that idea, I said I wanted to play the part of the wheelchair guy because I knew we'd be able to get a wheelchair from the sick bag.
Yeah.
And I would be able to sit down all day during the excursion and pop wheelies. Sat down all day, couldn't pop a wheelie. Didn't know how to do it.
That's in year 6 though.
It was in year 9,
and
I did try only once and then fell over and didn't want to try again because everyone saw me fall over.
I was doing it I caught up with Owen and a few other people on Monday. Went for a dip, and I was planning on leaving at around 7 o'clock ish, just or 7:30 ish, and I think I said at about 8, okay, I'm gonna leave. I said that to Theo. Then I saw the wheelchair, and I sat down in it, and I started wheeling it, and I was getting better at it. I found that shit so addicting. I think I left at 9:30. I spent an hour and a half just wheeling in the wheelchair. Yeah.
All right. Next one was, so the Zuck's building a new house in, I forget where it was, but it was somewhere far away. So, but something that's interesting, just going back into my part of my brain that just loves a little conspiracy theory, is the plans of it. It's been like very secretive. Like he's built walls around the whole place, but as you would as a billionaire, he's building a house, I suppose. But apparently plans leak for the house, and he's building this whole self-sufficient bunker underneath the house with like a nuclear
really
door, which got people a bit worried. And also apparently the guy that's designing his house is like some guy from New Zealand who has built 11 billionaire bunkers in like the last year. Or the last few years, I suppose. And so I suppose what do they know that we don't is kind of where your mind trickles onto. So I've started digging a hole in my backyard just to prepare. I'm currently a foot deep and going. Next up is this is a local one from Sydney. A rare and endangered plant was discovered in Sydney this week, where devoted fans of plants, I guess, lined up for up to 3 hours to get a whiff. Literally. The twist being is that the plant is famous for its revolting smell, similar to
the corpse flower.
Yeah, similar to that of decaying flesh. I'm not huge on plants, and that might be my problem as well. I wanted to get your thoughts because you climb trees and sniff buttholes for a living. Sorry, one of those is true. One of those is climbing trees. What are your thoughts on that? Would you be lining up for three? Well, what's the time bracket that you'd line up to get?
When did you read this? When did you find that about? When was that? Yeah. Where was that?
In Sydney.
In Sydney, yeah. So there was one here.
Really?
Yeah, at the Botanic Gardens.
Really?
Yeah, probably about 2 or 3 months ago.
Oh, there you go.
Because they take around, I think.
But nobody was lining up for 3 hours. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Why are people so interested to smell this?
Because they're not interested to smell it. It's because it only flowers once. It flowers in. It's like the thing from Dennis the Menace. Have you ever seen that movie?
I have, but I don't know what you're referring to.
It flowers. They sped it up. It flowers, and within 24 hours of it flowering, the flower dies, and the plant's dead. Then it starts growing again.
But who cares?
But it takes 10 or 12 years to grow before it flowers. Flowers, dies, starts again. I think. I don't know if it starts again. But people were lining up for, I think, 6-7 plus hours here.
That's stupid. I think that's dumb as. Lastly, of Marty's Media Meltdown, just for a little nicer one, I suppose, to end off, is Mitten the cat becomes a frequent flyer. Mitten the cat... So Mitten is a cat. Mitten's cage was overlooked on a plane's cargo return and managed to fly from Australia to New Zealand 3 times before being found. I thought that was crazy.
Quite the frequent flyer. Good job, Mittens. Breaking news?
Breaking news? Maybe not. Some say that Mittens was up to a little scheme where she was just trying to get more flight lasagnas, more in-flight meals.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Trying to get the frequent flyer points up. Trying to get a free trip to the Barbados.
Yeah, one thing you mentioned cats and lasagna, and I just wanted to say something really quick. Garfield's addicted to lasagna. Imagine if he got a hold of some meth. And then one more. Clearly I haven't seen the movie Cats vs. Dogs. Because they flew around a lot.
Yeah.
Or G-Force.
They're not cats though. They're critters. Fair enough. All right. Anyway, so these are 5 indications of Jake either being a red or a green flag. Spoiler alert: they're all red flag indications. Because I'm trying to send a message on the other side of the couch. So one of the 13 points was they use your past against you.
I don't do that.
Well, listen. So my concern of Jake doing this, and something that I just want him to maybe point the other way, was him consistently bringing up both the meat pie incident and the leather socks incident.
So, first off, the leather socks incident.
Don't blame me for my past mistakes. Don't look at my past and think it was a failure. Think about how far I've come.
I think actually the first time the meat pie incident was brought up in over 2 years was by you. When we got, I think it was when we got to the snow or in the car on the way to the snow. We were like talking, like Gemma was asking, and we were like, I think we've had one fight, and it was the meat pie incident.
Yeah. Because I wiped meat pie on Jake's school blazer and he like crashed out at me. Valid crash out, but don't consistently bring it up in the future if it was something that happened in the past that we got over.
Yeah, but I think it was more. I think it's more being brought up because of my crash out and not because you were being a shit cunt.
And I think the leather socks thing speaks for itself. If you guys have heard Jake constantly ramble about the leather socks and how intolerant he is to it, that's just classic Jake.
That's because it cost me something dearly. I don't own leather socks, but I was seeing this girl. She listened to the pod. We got into bed, and she was like, "Where are your socks?" And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "The leather socks. Why do you think I'm here?" I was like, "I don't own any leather socks." And she was like, "Oh my goodness, you're a fraud. I'm not sleeping with you anymore." And she left.
Respect. Glad I can help you out. Number 2, they're intolerant to opposing views. And this one's got quite a double meaning to it. I look back at the mirror incident. Jake, if you guys want to know what the mirror incident, listen to episode 2 of the Jake and Marty podcast, where Jake and Marty had their first fight on pod about how not how mirrors are made, but whether or not you get first use out of a mirror.
And it's obvious. It's obvious that you can't buy a brand new mirror that hasn't been used.
I'm pretty sure that was my point of
No,
view.
that wasn't your point of view.
I'm pretty sure that was my point of view.
Your point of view was that you can buy a new mirror. I swear, listen to this shit. I've changed your mind. I've changed your mind on this.
I think yours was... I actually can't remember.
I've changed your mind on this because I said you can't buy a new mirror. No, it's not plugged in because of the Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. Things come at a cost. That's a good lesson. Well, maybe I'll go back into that, but I can't really remember. But I thought it was cool because opposing views as well, like when you look in a mirror. Anyway, number 3 of 5 was they make fun of your goals and interests.
I've never done that shit.
To which I replied, I once told Jake that I wanted to sing on Broadway. His response is, Marty, you're literally tone deaf as fuck.
I didn't say that.
You did say that.
No, but I didn't say that in reply to you, bro.
Yeah, no, that's how I remember it.
No, you didn't
I have
say
aspirations to sing on Broadway.
You didn't say that. You didn't say I have aspirations to sing on Broadway. I said you've improved singing so much this year because you used to be tone deaf as fuck.
Okay, so you're calling me a liar.
I said you used to be tone deaf as fuck. I said you've improved a lot as a singer. It was like meant as a compliment.
But after I say that I wanted to sing on Broadway...
You didn't say that shit!
Number 4, they are dishonest.
This is making shit up.
Well, this one I had a solid point for. I don't know. I don't have any real evidence supporting this theory. I'm just going off hunches now. I just don't trust him. I just don't trust him across the couch. And finally, number 5, Jake's biggest red flag, according to this TikTok that I saw, was they don't make you feel emotionally or physically safe.
What?
I used to come to the podcast every week, dreading that this guy would jump on the couch. Over and over and over again, he would do it. Until one day, we had to move to separate couches. You used to scare me, man. You used to scare me.
No, I didn't.
I used to be terrified to come to the podcast because I thought you were going to jump on the couch. And that is just an example of not feeling
I used to be
emotionally
terrified.
or physically safe.
I used to be terrified coming to the podcast because I used to think that I always had to sit on the rock. And I was scared to sit on the rock. I didn't like sitting on the rock. There was always this one really uncomfortable bump on it.
All right, the Mice Band World Tour.
This is just a backstory on something that a story I've been following very closely the last few, honestly, probably a month or two. So a trend started on Instagram. Have you seen it or not?
Is it the mice dancing?
Yeah, or
Going
and singing.
like,
Oh no, like the AI dancing videos, or no? I think you're.
no, the mice dancing and doing like the foot thing with the arm thing.
I don't think so.
It does it to that one song, and people try to recreate it. It's like a dance trend. No, that's not the song. It's
Okay.
Like,
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, but that's not it. So you haven't seen the mice? Okay, you're gonna love this shit. You're gonna love this
I don't
shit.
know.
So it started out with being like videos of like Billie Eilish singing or some other like Harry Styles singing, and then the caption would be like Billie Eilish interrupted by the mice band, and it would be like them singing, and then all of a sudden a mouse would jump across the screen and land playing the guitar, and then all the other mouse would sing along going.
This is fucking stupid.
Anyway, so I was following that for about a month, and I was like, this is great. I can't get enough of this. I want to see more people interrupted by the mice. Then the mice band announced they were going on a world tour. Now, before this happened, I didn't know this at the time, but I found out later, is that Samuel Swiss at this point had left the band.
Who the fuck is Samuel?
Samuel Swiss was one. They're all just like this name's all
Charlie Cheddar.
No, that would have been good though. So Samuel Swiss left the band at this point. I didn't know about that. Now we track forwards a bit. And Marvin Cheese, he went missing. You think, where did Marvin Cheese go? Anyway, he was then spotted like as an alcoholic doing drugs and stuff, and he went to rehab. This is when news broke out that Marvin Cheese had broken out of rehab and was on the loose.
Oh.
Then Marvin Cheese did a couple bad things, got arrested. Now, even better, there is Billie Eilish interrupted by Marvin Cheese in prison. And it's him, and then the camera pans around, and it's Marvin Cheese in prison. Now, Samuel Swiss has been regretting, since these guys went on world tour, he's been regretting the leaving the band. And he's become an alcoholic now. We're yet to hear about his rehab journey.
Lots of press.
But there are a few more characters other than Marvin Cheese. Now, most recent update, Marvin Cheese is back in the band. Fans describe Marvin Cheese as distracted as he attempts to return to Mice Band World Tour. It is Marvin Cheese, a picture of Marvin Cheese, that's him, with his guitar. A bunch of pretty mice walk by, and he's drinking his alcohol. Rioting ensues as fans cannot contain excitement for Marvin Cheese returning to Mice Band. And there was one more, which this one was breaking. This was actually a very sad one. This is the last one. Breaking news: the divorce between Parmesan Paul and Michelle Mozzarella turns ugly as she takes 50% of his Mice Band royalties. So definitely plenty of characters, and
Parmesan
I think,
Pete?
Parmesan Paul.
Pete's way better, first of all.
Yeah, that would have been cool, but I mean, I wasn't his mum.
You're telling me there's no, what did I say? Charlie Cheddar. He might be an up and coming.
I think he's a drummer. There's no drummer in the band, but there's been talks of signing a drummer, and I could see it being Charlie Cheddar.
There's no drummer in this band. Why am I even talking about this? This is some fucking Instagram real shit. This is stupid ass.
This is some story
Well,
time.
I look forward to an update in a future pod about.
I'll start sending them all to you.
You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that at all.
I will.
Great. All right. Well, this episode you've learned a bit about what's going on in the world, a bit about what's going on in the world of Mice Band World Tour, a little bit about Jake behind the scenes. You've heard a lot about Jake behind the scenes from Jake's point of view. And I hope you've all enjoyed the podcast. If you don't mind, I'll leave him with a quote this week.
Go for it.
I've got a few to choose from. I'm going to choose this one just because it's very relevant, because I heard it this week from a guy at work. So, Jack, this one goes out to you.
Jack?
Yeah, Jack, security guard Jack.
Yeah.
Or ex-security guard. He's actually moved to a different part of the store.
Aww.
But this is Jack, dropped this absolute baller on me this week, and I'm going to share it with you guys. Hope you all enjoyed this episode of the pod. How am I supposed to soar like an eagle when I'm sitting with the pelicans?
That's interesting because I usually get told when I do something stupid, how am I supposed to soar like an eagle when I'm surrounded by turkeys?
Maybe it's an adaptation.
Mm.
Don't want me to do a different one.
No, it's all right. You can
No,
choose
I got a
that.
different one.
What's another good one?
No, will we cut it on one or we don't do any?
Okay, go.
A different one?
No, it's up to you.
We can do a second one.
Yeah, go for it.
I got them coming out my ass at the moment.
No, you're
This
right.
is just a personal favourite one from Lego Batman. Vigilantes don't have bedtimes.
That's a good one.
Alright.
I watched Lego Batman recently.
It's a good one, hey?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. Gonna feel real good. Gonna make a difference. Gonna make it right.
Oh, that's awesome. I fucked with it so hard.
And then you wait for this. And then you start to fade it out.